Hi, Toony here. For this round, it's Uplifting, and I've chosen the song Fairytale. Fairytale is uplifting to me because it's about a couple that sort of falls apart, distance grows between them, and it becomes really hard where the memories that they've made seem more like a fairy tale. And it's very difficult for them, but in the end, they end up being able to come together, and they make a promise that no matter what, they won't just let their relationship be a story. And it was very uplifting to me because it's that idea where you shouldn't just let people go, and that you don't always have to. So that rather than viewing things as an old fairy tale, it's important memories that you can still hold on to whether or not you get to meet again in the future. So I hope you enjoy.
あの日みたいな朝もやがかかる足がもつれては手を取った解けない魔法のようなおとぎ話をぼったり続きがまた話すね暗い海に浮かぶ二人が寂しくないように神様がきっと少しだけきっと許した時間重なり合う星のモノクラムに答えてあなたが聞けるな声を張り上げて軌道上の先へあなただけの輝きに憧れ続けてたの真っ白なまま過ごしてあの頃には戻れないのに
Toony, I'm not sure what happened here. I'm not sure if you didn't hear all the problems with the pitch that you had throughout the song, or if you just submitted it without listening to it, but it wasn't even close. This was not the Toony that I was introduced to. I have heard you do better, and I know you can do way better than this. For me, it sounded as if you were rushing to get it done just to get it over and done with. And like I said, that's not the Toony that I was introduced to. I know you can do so much better than this, and so I was really disappointed.
This entry screams help. As of now, every one of you have gotten best performance, so I wasn't lying when I said this is the most even competition ever. Therefore, it confuses me that you let this pass as your entry for deciding the top 4. First off, why choose to sing in Japanese in a theme where you have to portray a certain message? Imagine if this were a live competition, you couldn't expect everyone to understand Japanese or to look up the lyrics before judging it. Or even in a competition that's not live like this one, because we are here to judge the actual recording and not everything else around it. So for that reason, it wasn't uplifting to me. Furthermore, you seem to have taken my comment literally last time when I said your first entry was the best and you should find that magic again, because this is the same artist as in your first entry, or at least the most popular version of the song is from the same YouTube channel. But it's more than choosing the same artist. It's about energy, confidence, and nailing the pitches. You are pitchy again, and it's actually worse than last time. Was it rushed, or are you actually a bit tone deaf? Either way, it's a shame because you had the voice, but you don't seem to have the ears. At least my eyebrow muscles gotta work out.
I honestly feel like the song choice was not the most appropriate because singing songs outside of what we're fluent in is always a risky choice, especially with regards to pronunciation and overall tone. And I think that was a major letdown in your performance this episode. And it didn't help that you were off-pitch most of the time. Of course not, you're definitely off-pitch, but it was quite obvious that you were slightly flat throughout. It was rather disappointing to hear the chorus as well, because the instrumental of the chorus is so strong, it's so powerful at that point in time, but your vocals didn't match up to that shift from the verse to the chorus, and so that was disappointing. Although I do think you have a lovely voice and that you have so much potential, just that it wasn't shown to us in this performance.
Toony, it feels like you've given up on this competition. It's the second submission in a row where you've got into the chorus or the main body of the song and you've been super flat. which means that you're not listening back and thinking, oh, I'll fix that, and you're not re-recording, and you're also not thinking maybe the song isn't working and writing it off. It's kind of like you've got further into the competition than you thought you're going to, and you just haven't got time for it anymore, or at least that's what you're showing us. And it's very difficult with such glaring errors, especially at such a late stage, to overlook it. And I think you're going the right way to get yourself out the back door if you don't want to be in it anymore.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Your voice is smooth and beautiful as always, but I'm still so disappointed. This was nowhere near the fire you gave us last time. It's like you gave it your all once and that was it, so what's the point? I mean, your progress is like good, weak, amazing, meh. You can't do that. You can't drop it like that after doing amazing, that's just not enough. You should have kept it going. And why would you waste 1 minute on intro when you have 2 minutes? And when you finally started singing, you chose the least challenging parts. The impression I got from this was like, I don't care, I just want to get it over with. I mean, I'm sure you do care, otherwise you wouldn't have submitted at all, but maybe you felt safe after getting top performance last round. But like Andrea said, nobody is safe.
It was rather awkward to sit through about a minute's worth of a violin solo, which will inevitably lose your audience's attention, so not a wise move. Avoid having things that would take away from your own voice. And I have to commend your tone, it's very nice, and you have a very pleasant and warm sounding natural timbre. However, it wasn't utilized properly. You could afford to have more resonance in your voice. But the main issue at hand now is that your notes tend to be very draggy. For example, you sing, "When I am still." You can hear yourself trying to drag and slide upwards to reach a note, which makes me think that perhaps the note is out of your natural range and that you find it hard to reach, because the note does sound slightly strained. It would be nicer to hear a clean transition of "When I am still" rather than that drag. So yes, that's one. And secondly, it was very disappointing to hear the chorus, because you are expecting so much power and emotion from this song, but your chorus was very lackluster. And I hope to see more improvement from you, because I see much potential in you.
Ryan, that song you picked, I really dislike it, and the main reason for that is because I've seen so many weak attempts at trying to cover it. It's a song where from the first note you've got to grab the bull by the horns and really take control of it and own the song, and you haven't at any point. You're just kind of grappling for it and you're just not there, and it's disappointing in a way that you've left a minute of introduction in without any singing and avoided the biggest parts of the song. But I think what you've done there is you've avoided exposing yourself too much, because if you'd got to those points you would have missed them by an absolute country mile. So you just haven't executed in this one, unfortunately. It seemed like you lacked the confidence, so you weren't able to grab hold of it and make it your own, and it just hasn't worked.
Ryan, 58 seconds of instrumental in a singing competition. 58 seconds of not singing in a singing competition. And then you gave us 20 seconds of actual voice, which isn't enough time to get emotionally invested and to really hear what you can do. I mean, and then it's just the base of, when you're starting a song, the first verse is always kind of like the foundation. But we don't want to hear the foundation because that's the most anticlimactic, boring part of the song. And you can't get emotionally invested. And it's not showing off what you can do. What I wanted to hear was the climactic moment of the song. What you needed to do was to record the whole song and give us the best minute and 30 seconds of vocals. Or find a song that didn't have 58 seconds of an instrumental. I mean, this was kind of like a wasted entry because there wasn't enough singing for us to even see what you could do or what you couldn't do. I mean, there was just not enough for us to be able to make a good decision about your vocals. And then 58 seconds of just instrumental. I mean, I don't know what you were thinking this time. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Hello YouTube Idol, it's Ginga again. So this week's theme is Uplifting, and I decided to sing Beautiful by Christina Aguilera because it has such a beautiful message. It really does resonate with me and a lot of others, and I would like to just dedicate this one to all my friends and family who have been supporting me throughout this entire competition. It really means a lot. So thank you so much and hope you enjoy it.
Every day is so wonderful that suddenly it's hard to breathe. Now and then I get insecure from all the pain. I'm so ashamed. I am beautiful no matter what they say. Words can't bring me down. I am beautiful in every single way. Yes, words can't bring me down. Oh no, don't you bring me down today. No matter what we do, no matter what we do, no matter what we say, no matter what we say. Oh yeah, and everywhere we go, and everywhere we go, the sun will always shine. Tomorrow we find ways, always, always shine. We are beautiful, no matter what they say. Yes, words can't bring us down. Oh no, so don't you bring me down today. Ooh, yeah, so don't you bring me down today. So don't you bring me down today.
The song started off beautifully. You have a naturally very soulful voice, and I think that was very well utilized, and we could see it. It sounded amazing in the verse, and your effort and emotion is very evident throughout your whole performance. However, the chorus it seems to be very overdone because too much was going on. Like your voice and the background vocals came in all at once, and I think partially due to editing, your voice wasn't loud enough to really shine, and especially since the background vocals emphasized on your pitch, which in this case was slightly flat, and that made it rather unpleasant and chaotic to hear because everything just came in. Towards the end, you were also slightly pitchy, especially at the higher notes. You tend to get rather sharp. Not too bad, but you can hear it, especially since it's paired with the instrumental. So do be more aware about your pitch, because I think that's your main issue at this point in time.
Well, Ginga, let me start by saying that you're not Christina Aguilera, that much is obvious, but who is? And she's one of those artists where if you choose to cover her, you do it at your peril because you are probably going to fall short. And this performance, yeah, okay, if you compare it against the original, it did fall a little short. But in terms of your notes, yes, you're out a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. all in all. Like, you haven't missed them by a mile, and the most important thing is I actually felt uplifted listening to the song, which is what this round is all about. And it's not the first time where I've gone and given praise for a performance where I felt the emotion of it, even if the vocal performance hasn't been perfect. And this is another one of those, because I felt the passion of it. Now, it did the job, even though compared to the original on a vocal level, yes, it won't have looked the best. So fair play for having a stab at a Christina song, and well done for not royally messing it up.
Ginga, I have to admit, I was disappointed with everybody this week. None of y'all brought it. I don't know what it was about the uplifting song choice category, but nobody quite got it. That said, I really felt what you were singing when you were singing You're Beautiful, no matter what they say, words can't bring you down. I felt that you believed it. I mean, I had this emotional attachment to the song because the message of the song, I felt you were conveying really well with your voice. That said, there were a lot of pitch problems, and when you're tackling a song like Christina Aguilera or Lady Gaga or Whitney Houston, songs like Beautiful is synonymous with Christina Aguilera. I Will Always Love You is synonymous with Whitney Houston. I mean, these are big songs, and you either have to be as perfect and almost identical to the original singer, which is never going to happen. I mean, you can't be Christina Aguilera, you can't be Whitney Houston, because they are larger than life. Or you have to make it your own. You have to make this Ginga. You have to make this song synonymous with Ginga by bringing yourself into the song and making it your own, but making it really clean and perfect. And for me, emotionally, you hit the mark, but vocally, it was very karaoke.
I was rather excited when I found out you were going to sing this, because Christina Aguilera is one of my favorite artists of all time, and Beautiful is one of my favorite songs and one of my favorite music videos. Trivia: did you know the main vocals were recorded in one take, and that the music video is by a Swedish director, Jonas Åkerlund? So I was excited but also worried, because it's very hard to not compare to the original, and like Mark have said, there are artists in an untouchable camp, and she's definitely one of them. I'm afraid I was disappointed by this. You are going sharp in the verse and flat in the chorus, and you weren't able to put that much power into it. So it ended up making me feel uncomfortable, and that's not exactly the emotion I wanted to get out of this. This song choice was very far from safe though, and I give you respect for that, but not safe equals a risk. And unfortunately, for me, you kind of failed.
Hey everyone, it's Kim. For this round, I figured I'd pick something that I can have a bit of fun with, because all of my submissions have been compared to my first one, the cover of The Way I Am, and while it wasn't exactly the most challenging song at all, The Way I Am definitely was the song that I had the most fun with. So I figured, you know what, I'm just gonna go with that and do something that I can be free with. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy.
Don't think about it, just move your body. Listen to the music, sing oh yeah. Just move those laughing, go ahead get crazy. Anyone can do it, sing oh yeah. Show the world you got that fire. Feel the rhythm getting louder. Show the world what you can do, prove to them you got the moves. I don't know about you, but I feel better when I'm dancing. Yeah, yeah. Better when I'm dancing. Yeah, yeah. 'Cause we can do this together. Bet you feel better when you're dancing. Yeah, yeah. When you finally let go, you slay that solo. 'Cause you listen to the music, sing oh yeah. 'Cause you're confident, babe, and you let your hips sway. We knew that you could do this, sing oh yeah. Show the world you got that fire. Feel the rhythm getting louder. Show the world what you can do, prove to them you got the moves. I don't know about you, but I feel better when I'm dancing. Yeah, yeah. Better when I'm dancing. Yeah, yeah. 'Cause we can do this together. Bet you feel better when you're dancing. Yeah, yeah.
Kim, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, I can tell, but I just need you to step your game up a little bit, because that performance, I wanted to be tapping my foot to it, and I just couldn't. It's almost like, to try and get the perfect vocal performance, you just step back the energy a little bit, and it's an uplifting round, and you're covering a Meghan Trainor song. She's not the best vocalist in the world, but she puts a lot into it. There's a lot of power behind it, there's a lot of emotion behind it, and I feel like if you have to sacrifice and miss the odd note here and there to really put the passion into it, then so be it, especially in a round where the theme is uplifting to try and get an emotional response out of it, and I just didn't feel it. So even though it's a good singing performance, in this round especially, I'm looking at it and thinking it was a bit ordinary. I wanted something special and I didn't get it.
Kim, now I heard a few missed notes while some of the other judges felt you were perfectly on pitch the whole time. And so I'm trying, we had this kind of argument back and forth. Like, no, she was actually on key. I mean, she was, on pitch. She had it. I'm like, no, I heard notes that were so just not there. And so I'm listening to it over and over. And I think what's happening, I'm not sure, to me, I'm still hearing missed notes. But what I think is happening is if I had to put an emotion to it, it would be melancholy, not uplifting. It sounded very sad, and there was just something emotionally missing. And then you have the background vocals, and my ear is drawn to the background vocals because they're light and airy and happy sounding. And then when you take a happy sound and you mix it with melancholy, I think that's why maybe you sounded like you were falling flat, because while you were singing, the background vocals were drawing my ear more because they had more emotion in them. The background vocals sounded more happy and peppy and just kind of drew my attention. And so I don't know if that's what was happening, but there was just an emotional disconnect. And as we're coming to the climax of the competition, I just have to ask, is your heart still in this? If you want to be named YouTube Idol, you gotta bring it if you survive this round. Next round, you gotta say, I want to win this and I'm gonna prove it, and here's my song.
I see you've gone back to basics and did a similar performance to what you've been praised for before. What's funny is that we're always disagreeing on you in every single round, and I actually didn't vote you as best performance in round 1. I actually prefer when you're using more demanding dynamics, even though you're not as technically proficient when you do that, because at least it shows more passion. I'd rather have someone trying hard and not be perfect than be safe and boring. As long as it's still decent and doesn't make me uncomfortable, of course. That's why I voted you above Phoebe last round, even though you didn't necessarily do better than her. Actually, it was a tie, and it came down to my vote. But anyways, if you can mix that with the things you excel at, such as your low range and exquisite high notes, you're pretty much perfect to me. This was a sweet but rather safe performance, yet still is one of the best performances this round since it's overall a weak round for everybody. I have not been this dissatisfied with an episode for a very long time. That's why my comments are rather harsh in this episode. But the judges are here for honest commentary, so that's what you're gonna get.
It was a great song choice because you have a very sweet voice and it matched this song perfectly. And you were mostly on pitch throughout, so great technique, no complaints about that. I would just like to comment on your emotion because this song is so upbeat. You have to have that excitement in order to keep up with the song because your voice has to be the star of the track, not the backing vocals, not the backtrack. But in this case, at some point of the song, the backtrack and the backing vocals sort of overshadowed your voice, and that's very undesirable. So ultimately, I would just want to remind you that it is not enough to have your voice at the same level as the backtrack. Your voice should be the star, the backtrack is just an accompaniment. Don't let the backtrack and the backing vocals overshadow your voice.
Deep within my heart, you are the spark, my light in the dark, brilliant and bold through the night, bright as the sun, no matter.
Thanks for watching. See you soon with the result.
Jag var... Kan jag sluta? This was a rather safe performance.